Its basic and ongoing creation of the universe in terms of its particles as I speak it, the poem. If you're reading it, you hear me too, the bits of sound, thought, words seen without senses if you're dead. All you have to do with it is nothing. Everything else is such a big deal thing. Poetry's mere reality. No proof, just be here. Proving's a human invention. Poetry is what you do with mind, which is what there is. Just listen a little. No one cares if you understand it. Who understands why we're alive? I haven't understood anything since an academic subject. I was walking, say, near the Grand Magasin. How? You learned how to walk. The man with the monkey and 3 dogs isn't there anymore. I go inside and buy presents, Baccarat or Swarovski. I understand deaf now. A crazed taxi driver told me he did time for protesting war in front of Galerie Lafayette. This is part of the poem. I gave up and just listened to him, for which audience he was so grateful he carried my suitcase to my door in December when I had had surgery but not yet radiotherapy. He was from La Réunion, and it is possible holding it together with what are called words, but again, particles of communication. The particles? All that's there? All that's there. This is a chapter from a book called For the Ride, which is really hard to explain, and so what I'm trying to figure out is whether I need my glasses or not. Some people, it's the end of the world, and some people get on a ship and decide to take language with them because they're afraid that there will be no more language of the universe if it's the end of the world. So, and they also get to change words. So, yes, that's too high. Thank you. I think this is right. So they, through a strange process, they decide which words to save, and they take them with them on a ship, and they go to nowhere. They get off the ship, and there are some frescoes, and the creatures on the frescoes come down, and they have a battle with them, and then they go back up they get battled back up into the wall, and then two of the people go with them. Oh, they only use the pronoun one. They have decided this. They've made certain decisions about language. Since there are only a few people left, they can say whatever they want. So this chapter that I'm going to read is called City of Nothing. And they've had the battle, and the people have gone back into the wall, and now they're walking, and things are starting to come out of their feet. It's called City of Nothing. Ones now leave them in walls. Walk on, says Key, past the rests of future. One can disregard it, have been through it. L'allée now passes through mist, nothing but, though lit sometimes by shafts of the light invoked by words, mechanical, flat, and painted. There's really nothing here. Call it City of Nothing, says the one. How far does it extend? Far doesn't make sense here, Key says, but beneath the one's feet appear, see, are squares, are floating. Ones are making them as ones walk along. Feet, 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 palely hued. Is it a map? Is it that the ones can't exist without configuration within or without of it? One, one's, mind, it's the mind that ones are of. Each, says Key, one and all, one as all or as one, doing this together without knowing. Feet, 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 peach, white, beige. Look, there are words appearing in the squares, disappearing before one can read them. Must be a way to hold on to them as if to remember them, try to keep hold of them. One is sliding in words, making the squares are rectangles. First it's snake-like S's. See those? Then become words. Hold them. Where? In mind ones are in. Make them be fixed. Ones are in control. If all that's here, je suis. See, whose foot's that? Francis or Whiteset's? Je suis. I am, not she. Both ones, or those ones, thought at once. Pink, how anomalous. Anomalous the universe. One's only make it once, make together, thinking this universe solace and crypto hidden, je suis caché. One am the one, point making foot words à chaque point, no point. Yes, that's it, there's no point. Pedes, Platonic, foot. Look, it says, epithesma, brightness. Oh, can one just have that? Such shimmering. One is bright, hovering. Goldenness? One speak of it pastly. The lumen gone. Now it's internal. France, thou the dead, thou says, is the language? What? Whatever. Are the ones there yet? Thing before think or tired of trying to be, don't want to read. Ones can sing it to you. Squares call out underfoot. Had to make something, didn't ya? Whoa, whoa, whoa. In the notes where the song hides, decadent invention. Look, a whole poem at one's foot, says the one. One has exuded it. Poem. If one has left everything but a direct quotation from the soul, how is it that that is still divided from the one in the gray day of this night? Speak to me while I am unconscious. Ancient harbor, I almost remember the worst of my dreams, where the sails are nets. I am supposed to be stable, eternal, but I grieve. Where are my others when there are no survivors on the shores of air? I can't find thee, you haven't arrived, the flocks of white-winged moths, though I know you live, for I do. There is no eternal solace, only ever the one moment, and I am stable as the center of time, but in my mind, I am its tone as well as its rock, for air in each air. Oh, I am a translation, as you'd hear, seeking my true language. Help me, O dolce medicum, O heart words that are my blood, understood only by me, until now, until this haunted now. One's secret heart is breaking one's unsecret one, France says. Her foot. Poème. Mon histoire est noble et tragique, comme le masque d'une femme oubliée m'échappe. Aucun détail reste du meurtre, sauf ma connaissance dans l'hôtel de ville, dans l'hôtel des particules, des hauts palmeaux. Buveuse de l'opium de ma mort, je rêve d'une chambre sale et beige. Personne n'est là, mon corps est là, moi je suis dehors, à nulle part. Qui m'a tué? La drame des hommes, ou quelqu'un. C'est ton monde à toi, où les gens suivent les autres jusqu'au moment sanguinaire, ton vrai amour. Because they have to have it that way, where there's their own story. If one remembers, it'll just be theirs, even if it's in one's head. Ghost head, what does one need dead? Oh, it goes on. Have to seek your past. But ones aren't all dead. Oh, ones are dead. If Terran nature's dead. Shaker says, ones are contextless squiggles, snake-like lines. Whiteset says, not afraid to be that. Principle of rebirth. What's a principle? No, a wild, slithery line of force cut from the linear perception, when one's was somewhere but parenthetical to l'histoire. Am a snake, snakes beneath feet, lines of magical force, powerful effigy. Am I, is one, words pour from mouth, perfect because enacting one, in afterlife. Maybe it's limbo here, or dark matter. It's light. One means there's no light, but it's light or sight. One continues to see. Let's agree that the past's undetailed shape. Let's read these present poems underfoot, for they're what ones are now. Shaker reads ground beneath, almost stumbling, falling down on word slab. Poem. Someone has a container containing a few pearls. We're eyeballs. One must change again. Feels a hardness against the past as it goes. Foot on the street of magenta thoughts, abloom like witchy gores. And one is transformed in a crystal momentary pulled up into a much larger thought, towering like Aldebaran, dear red. One is as big and as forgetful as rocks, speaking tourmalines, beryl, plagioclase, hemimorphite, cinnabar, Apache flame agate, lunar and solar eclipses, meteor showers, halos of space dust. Nothing will ever love one again. Struck by lightning or icebound, everything's happening backwards. One started here or always saw it. I knew there was no way to portray me and I was left primordial. One knows there is no way to portray one and one is left primordial. But one is not left. One is articulate, finally, articulated. Is one no longer one who shook, White said, for whatever reason? The new language can gain by that beauty, humor, clarity. Past motivation is of no importance, Shaker says, not here. Have been allowed to forget the details of one's transgressions, now internalized into materials concrete for existence. Energy, might say, one was a way, now one's a transformed one. What one is guilty of pastly, a tone, glint and grain of non-atmosphere. I'm leaving you, me. I've left it all, can't be in that thought again. When something is over, or someone, one emerges from the husk that's beige, featureless, or is that a simulacrum of my face on straw, a portrait of some face stuff, as if there had been a face? Those gross species identificatory apertures one knew? Those weren't it, one's it, and what one says, localizing for thee a federation of singular traits, thoughtful, verbal, unjudged. Another one's underfoot, Shaker says, must be thinking, quiet to me. Poem. In this poem, there's nothing left but a shape and some microtones. I, one, am, is. The shadow within, as the curlicute notes, the spiraling flinted sparks of tones word set off, winging round one's purple-gray shoulder forms, patching up existence. So I, one, can speak, sing, call to oneself, watching it react, amused. The far-hearing ear of my wide-set-eyed lover also distinguishes these nuances of shadow longings, of unremembered torments, of those histories you were supposed to. One was supposed to go through a mirage of the world in declension at the end of the gorge of detailed spaces. I walk into their Gothic walls. I mean that I, one, dissolved into the brown-black shifting texture of the sound-sounding disinterestedly justified or decreed. On the other side of your wall, I am taken apart, abstractedly anguished in the language of costs. In this story, though, one is never lost because one is a note, clear and inked in black. Pedes, one is calling to one's feet. Take one further on, and on in one, adding or losing it, or screeches into bodhisattvahood, forgetful of all but vast, the dimensions of the one most common note, maneuvering sunlight around. I won't read the last 2 pages. This is a poem from a book that's coming out next year called the Speak Angel series, and it's composed of 6 books. And this is from book 2, which is subtitled Opera, and some of the words in it are in big letters, and so they're said differently. In the black sequence, I'm leading you past sufferance. This, what the live still think they see, is the former universe, all of which had interpreted itself wrongly, for it was formed by us, as if we were a syntax of upheaval, when we might dance a transformational occurrence back and forth through the wall of death. Being the one who has broken through, I am leading you to, because we didn't die, the resumption of our origin. In the black sequence, learn you live to speak to us, the dead, in the language we were born in, essential. And the twigs of trees spell it every shape you make. We are speaking it memory, cause, and the more crystalline speech of the European blackbird. Anything I haplessly say, the universal memory. I'm leading you to freedom from old memory. I remember being a fool in so many my stances were rigid and destructive. I didn't have to stand for anything. I am the thing. I'm leading you live to where you can hear the dead in your mind's call and care. Not metaphorical, there is no metaphor. I am leading you live to where you can hear the dead in your mind's call and care. Not metaphorical, there is no metaphor. The sky turns pink and the moon sets. We are dancing us. Any rock or bacterium could have taken command, but I am leading you. I am leading you in tracks, runways, and small weeds that say mind through wall, go and see who you are. Dead, the power to hold us together. I am leading you to power, to the world of the dead, to the other half of who, don't you see, feel a different blood or force in you. I am leading you to the temple, the mind of the universe I am, and leading the live, I will overthrow the money changers, tear this building down, and leading the dead, I will erect a new memory for you at the top of the mind. We stepped to the fore within, and the pieces of our brokenness fell away. We forgot it. And what we remember is how you put this there. The red one goes into the art us. Here I am leading you to the rest of yourself on the other side of the white wall moon. In some sign or other I forgot it, leading you to the identity of the molecules, of communicants. We are all in the whitening dove rush thought you sent stood on the roof along the edge where we speak. Put the world there, substanceless. And she took the crushed paper forms and handed them along in the green void, the theatrical thought of it. I have no objective. I am leading you to where you won't have thing. It's not negation, who are we? It's not the epic of curses or the gradual formation of a momentary achievement. I am leading you to bilateral intersection of choiristic mentality. I am leading you to the corner of Broadway and A Street, Main and Rose. I am leading you to fearlessness, to the opening of the black back. I am leading you to where you can't see your skin anymore. How does the universe remember itself? Without human memory, it's probably there, but what is it what I am leading it to freedom. I am leading it manifest in its lingual structure we reveal now. She passes through the wall with an envelope divided into blocks of written messages from the outside. On the inside, darkly, I am targeted by the singing. Sing these lines, for you will do that here. The weather is lousy, the envelope says. Manufactured by us as else, and the living try to squeeze me into sad shape. We on your black back name the new senses, sliding notes, force the counting of degrees between words, CPRO-like tones between. We are counting you, leading in your numerical presence, gathering for the particles of all us, intermingling thoughts. I'm leading them till the language so slides into an epic identity it finally knows itself. I will let you engulf me tenderly that I lead. Without sophistication, you I lead. With the force of my antidote for the old sorrow, you I lead. Placing backtrack the bits of our previous encounters, you I lead. We only count for amusement. We ratiocinate for amusement. To keep ourselves amused, we will create love again. Does possess a quality contrapuntal, but voices are countless. More words than you'd conceive diminish the conjunctions. Everything is conjunct to me. I will lead you. I'm leading you where I can see in relation to every million glitz or words a prepositional slant, a keen gloss side. Whatever you say goes forth from mind to mind. I am leading you. You're leading us because you're the only one or thing who can. In the midst of what was wrongly called void, I am leading you. Quadrillion sides of thoughts or orbs, I am leading you. I'm leading away from order and disorder. I'm leading you, for I have no one else in the room but everyone. I am leading you to no oaks, no house, no chair. The idea of the memory presses. The idea of memory presses. Myself, but who? And the birds sing unmeekly, undaunted, the way the quasar emits. And I emit, I say, I am leading you away. Alone with everyone, I am leading them. This story thrills. Being the in-depth version in theater you have left me, I am leading you. No one has ever understood anything I have said, so I am leading you. I am leading away from the nacre screen where you saw yourself. I am leading you to the infinitely layered polyphony of a one's mind. I am leading you to the clarity of playing no role. I am leading you to so much more than duplicity. more than the theater of thought, the polyvalent buzz of existing, and we didn't exist in death. What would hold it up? The universe to exist is held in our thought. I am leading you to peace. We are the automatic beauty of dreams. I am playing, and I am leading you past tension, torture, and grievous, extended discomfort. I am leading you along the spiral unwinding of ascension no one has ever needed to better oneself. I am leading you, carrying you to freedom, she who carries you on her black, sequined, unsequenced cape. I am leading you past what you said you did. I am leading you to confiscation and retrieval of all goodness. Okay, from the same 600-page book that's about to come out. This is the beginning of the 6th book, and the 6th book is called The Poem, and I'm going to read it with you.
Just a quick question. Are you reading the series the same way you've just read the poem, or?
No, that one had like.
I know,
It
yeah.
had capital letters on it.
Okay, so.
This one, no. This one is more like the Descent of Allah.
Okay.
Kind of get full.
Je vais essayer. Donc, ce sont des poèmes tirés de The Speak Angel Series, qui est un livre à paraître. Ne prête pas attention à ce monde. Arrête de le faire. Arrête de faire ce monde. Et je dis que je n'ai pas d'âge. Et vraiment, de l'autre côté de la toile que tu appelles ce monde, qu'on appelle aussi le labyrinthe que j'ai quitté, je m'en moque. J'offre la guérison des mots de l'autre côté des mots. Je suis née morte, comme dans la vieille chanson punk. Viens à la vie, moi je dis. Née morte, ce monde je le parcours, née morte. Viens à la vie, moi, anciennement crucifiée, la femme tatouée au labyrinthe, dis-je, moi qui converse avec les morts, moi qui enlace chaque âme du réel, morte le soir dans ma chambre, qui soigne les morts même, dit, ne prête pas attention à ce monde de défauts d'élection et d'hommes frustes de la toile convenable. Je prépare un autre élément. Viens à la vie, rejoins-moi. Oublie les États-Unis, l'Union européenne, la Chine, la Russie, l'Inde, tout le foin autour de l'islam. Je t'accepterai si douteux sois-tu. J'enlace les morts massacrés, massacrants, mais aussi les vivants. Cesse tout ce que tu fais. Écoute juste, écoute-moi, ce que je chante et ce que les morts disent, les morts même disent.
Pay no attention to this world. Stop doing it. Stop doing this world. And I say that. I say I'm ageless and effectively on the other side of the fabric you call this world, also known as the labyrinth I left. I'm mocking it. I'm offering the healing of words, other side of words. I was born dead, says an old punk song. Come to life now, I say. Born dead, born dead. I'm walking through this world born dead. Come to life, I, the formerly crucified woman tattooed with a labyrinth, say. I who converse with the dead. I who embrace every soul of the real dead at night in my room, who heal the very dead, say, pay no attention to this world of defaults of elections and crass men of the accepted fabric. I'm creating another element. Come to life with me. Ignore the United States, the European Union, China, Russia, India, Islamic fuss. I'll accept you however shady you were. I embrace the slaughtered, slaughtering dead, but also the alive. Leave whatever you're doing, just listen. Listen to me, what I sing, and what the dead say, the very dead say.
Ça, je le sais, que les morts sont toujours vivants, sans possession, ni le pouvoir de se tuer les uns les autres, impuissants. C'est toi qui mourras, puis seras éternellement vivante, sans personne d'autre au-dessus de toi. Il n'y a pas de Dieu si ce n'est nous tous morts, comme nous l'avons toujours su en secret. Et dans le monde de la mort, toi, gigantesque, toi, âme égale à n'importe quelle âme dans l'univers, pas la planète, mais tout ce qu'il y a. Et voilà que tu es tout par rapport à la barbe à papa. Tes réussites nées de bas besoins, ce monde je le parcours née morte. Robot au flingue, t'es quoi sinon? Des comptes bancaires, des commentaires en ligne, quand tu as en fait le vrai de A à Z et tu n'arrives pas à garder la moindre chose. Mais ça, tu veux pas savoir ce que je veux te dire. Rien de ce que tu fais n'a de sens, à moins que tu sois un clodo dans la rue, mais il n'est même pas heureux. Les pierres ont plus de sens que toi. Elles ne sont pas heureuses. Donc, elles me disent que tu es vivante pour toujours, en toute égalité, sans pouvoir sur les autres. Qu'est-ce que tu vas faire? Tu vas faire quoi, hein? En toute égalité, sans pouvoir, sans personne au-dessus de toi.
This I know, that the dead are still alive, without possessions or the power to kill each other. Powerless, that is you who will die, are then alive eternally without... I'm going to start this again. This I know, that the dead are still alive, without possessions or the power to kill each other, powerless, that is, you who will die are then alive eternally, without any others over you. There is no God except all of us dead, as we've always secretly known. And in the death world, you, gigantic you, a soul equal to any soul in the universe, not the planet, but all there is, and this that you have, everything set against some candy floss, your accomplishments born of crass urges. I'm walking through this world born dead, robot with a gun. What else are you? Bank accounts, praise online when you have instead the true everything and you can't keep anything but it. Don't you want to know what I'm telling you? Nothing you do makes sense unless you're a bum on the street, but he's not even happy. Rocks make more sense than you, and they're not happy. So they tell me, you're alive forever, with equality, without power over others. What are you going to do? Just what are you going to do with equality, without power, without someone over you?
Et après suis-je? Et après suis-je? Qui suis-je vraiment? Suis-je guérisseuse? Est-ce qu'on peut avoir besoin d'être guéri? Et oui, pour oui, cet écart entre autres, ce que tu sais et ce que tu est toujours une vilaine blessure. Les morts eux-mêmes ne comprennent qu'à moitié. Ils m'appellent et demandent ton aide. Tu ne me crois pas, toi? Je te guérirai de toute manière et t'emmènerai et souffrirai pour toi quoi qu'il arrive. Ici sur la page, tu... There's a slight glitch. Ah, tu ris, pardon, typo, sorry. Ici sur la page, tu ris ici dans n'importe quel espace réel. À quoi penses-tu? Tu vois les gratte-ciel et les voitures, l'air rance. Je vois la bougeotte, j'entends les asticots qui s'appellent, j'entends les collines qui se posent, j'entends mes vers qui soignent les étoiles, tout aussi frénétiques depuis qu'elles ont été lancées en l'air. Il y a belle lurette. Et non, ce n'est pas fantaisiste, pas aussi fantaisiste que les oripeaux de ta vie sont idiots. Mais je ne saurais juste m'adresser à toi. Je suis pour les morts, je fais leur médiation, je les entends parler, chanter, manipuler leurs fréquences de doux sous-gémissements, comme des toits qui glissent le long du manche d'une guitare. J'entends mon esprit appeler « Que souhaites-tu » et ils disent « Écris ceci ».
And then am I, and then am I. Who am I really? Am I a healer? Can you need to be healed? And yes, for yes, this gap between what you know and what you are is still a gross wound. The dead themselves only partly understand. They call me up and ask for help. You don't believe me, you. I'll heal you anyway and lead you and suffer for you anyway. Here on this page you laugh, here in any real space. What do you think you see? High rises and cars, stale air. I see shiftingness. I hear worms call to each other. I hear the hills settle. I hear my lines heal the stars, which are frantic too from being thrown into space eons ago. And no, isn't this fanciful? Not as fanciful as the trappings of your life are stupid. But I can't only address you. I am for the dead. I mediate for them. I hear them talk, singing, manipulating their frequencies, soft underwinds, like fingers sliding down a guitar neck. I hear my mind call, what do you wish? And they say, write this.
Les morts les plus récents et les morts les plus vieux, des gens, animaux, plantes, les choses, se joignent à moi la nuit. Parfois je suis juste endormi, ils me rejoignent quand même, quelque part en moi, ils parlent. Le vraiment très récent mort, un poète, était là hier soir, a dit quelque chose du genre qu'il n'était pas un assez bon poète, trop dans la maîtrise. Un peu tard pour dire ça, je lui dis. Bien que les morts écrivent encore des poèmes. Remarquez, je parle en éclair, comme les morts. Désormais, tu apprendras à être mort, et tu sauras ce que tu as fait, peut-être. J'essaie d'aider. Un jour, j'ai rêvé que je crois que nous étions les morts, très loin aux confins de l'espace, assis sur le point de chanter comme un chœur. Et tu serais mené par... Notre chef de chœur était un jeune garçon bègue et débile. C'est la raison de tout, voilà ce que je dis. Et quand tu as chanté, et quand j'ai chanté, j'ai simplement chanté, sans être moi-même. Quand j'ai chanté, être, c'était ne pas être moi-même. J'ai finalement pu faire ça. Mais j'ai dit, je guéris les morts de leur tristesse. Oui, ils sont encore un peu tristes, et je les aide à nous recréer. Tu te joindras à eux, je dis.
Keep having positioning problems.
Is that okay?
No, it's more about the light.
Oh, okay. Do you want it higher, lower?
It's the light.
It's the light.
No.
Hold the light up. No, the page. Can you detach it from the table? Take the light off the table.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There are only 3 pages left. The newest dead and the oldest dead of people, animals, plants, the inorganic join me at night. Sometimes I'm just asleep. They join me anyway, somewhere inside me talking. The very newly dead poet was there. Last night said something like, he wasn't a good enough poet, too constricted. Kind of late for saying that, I say. Though the dead still write poems, note, I'm speaking in flashes, like the dead. Now you'll learn to be dead, and you'll know what you did, maybe. I try to help with that. Once I dreamed that I think we were the dead, in farthest outer space, sat about to sing choir-like, and would be led by, our choir master was, a young, retarded, stuttering boy. That's the point of everything, I say. And when you sang, and when I sang, I simply sang without being myself. When I sang, being was not being myself. I was finally able to do that. But I said I heal the dead of their sadness. Yes, they're still somewhat sad, and I'm helping them recreate us. You'll join them, I say.
Il m'a suivi partout, toute la journée comme à leur habitude. Tes poèmes écrits sont encore minces, dis-je. Je ne cessais de le regarder dans ma tête, il était creux. Pourquoi est-ce que tu me regardes? J'essaie de te trouver. Pourquoi est-ce que c'est toi? Demande-t-il. Pourquoi suis-je ici? Je dis. Pourquoi quoi que ce soit? Mais son problème est une forme de vide. Tu le remplis avec succès ou d'autres trucs, juste des trucs. La bonne conscience politique, c'est pas mal. La poétique de je ne sais quoi, ou des sensations qui flottent. Tout flotte, se faire avoir, tout peut faire l'affaire. Ou ton habituel. Il m'entend penser que les regards blessent presque. Tout ce que je crois que les morts peuvent entendre. Et je fais attention quand je pense. Une discipline assez intéressante. Ne pas blesser l'univers. Tu as raté quoi pour l'instant, je demande. Tu es presque mais pas vraiment substantiel. Mais c'est quoi ça? Juste une chose, une autre chose. Nous n'étions pas censés être ces choses substantielles, non substantielles, politiques, apolitiques, racistes ou pas, ni animaux, mammifères ou pas, une catégorie débile, naturelle, non naturelle. Il est encore sous le choc de la mort. Je vais écrire là, je dis, reste un peu ici avec tous les autres, ou trouve tes êtres chers, dans un autre coin de la ville.
He followed me around all day, like they do. Your poems written here still might be slight, I say. I kept staring at him in my mind. He was vacuous. Why are you looking at me? I'm trying to find you. Why is it you, he asks. Why am I here? I say, why anything? But his problems and emptiness, you fill it with success or other stuff, just stuff. Political righteousness is good. The poetics of whatever, or sensations floating by. Anything floats to be had, anything might do, or your usual tone of voice. He hears me think that, looks almost hurt. Whatever I think is heard by the dead, and I'm careful with my thoughts, an interesting kind of discipline. Not to hurt the universe. What have you missed out on so far? I say, you're almost but not quite substantial, but what is that? Just a thing, another thing. We weren't meant to be these things, substantial, insubstantial, political, apolitical, racist or not, nor animals, mammals or not, some stupid category, natural, unnatural. He's still in shock of death. I'm going to write now, I say. Hang around here with all the others, or find your loved ones in another part of town.
Les morts pensent bien, leurs pensées fusent vite, syntaxe de l'instantané. J'essaie d'écrire 3 ou 4 éclairs par vers, mais je ne suis que vivante et suis ma propre guide. En fait, leur guide. Comment est-ce que ça s'est fait? C'est de l'autre côté, à tout point de vue. Sous le jeu de mots se cache le réel, sequin, séquence, ou j'ai une douleur sur le côté. Dans la mort, aucun côté, aucun point de vue, tu as arrêté de croire. Pourtant, cette émotion quand même te guérit de la tristesse. Comment? Je ne sais pas, mais je le fais. Pourquoi est-ce que cela ne pourrait pas être moi? J'appelle le poète creux, alors qu'il disparaît. Un couple syrien mort, triste et digne, entre lourdement. Lui, moustache, elle, étole d'un rouge sourd. « Oh, asseyez-vous où vous pouvez, dis-je. » Et une femme drapée d'une cape bleue, qui court toujours, se précipite dans mes bras, se retourne, voit ses poursuivants s'effacer. « Oh, entre, lui dis-je, assieds-toi et repose-toi avant de te joindre à ta famille. » Eux qui ont de sombres visages de caverne, renfrognés, aux yeux fermés, et qui ont toujours besoin d'être guéris de la tristesse, qui ont besoin de savoir ce que nous sommes. Les montagnes pleurent en tonalité grinçante, des planètes entières s'écrasent, pleurent doucement. Voilà ma vie maintenant. Pas un vie, pas un rêve, une vie aussi réelle que cette ville, Paris.
The dead think so quickly their thoughts flash, syntax of the instantaneous. I'm trying to write 3 or 4 flashes per line, but I'm only alive and am my own guide. Actually, their guide. How did that come about? It's on the other side, in every way. Under the pun is the real sequence, or I've got a pain in my side. No signs in death. No stances, you've stopped believing. Still had affect, though. Cure you of sadness. How? I don't know, but I'm doing it. Why shouldn't it be me? I call out after the vacuous poet as he vanishes. Dignified, sad, dead Syrian couple enter heavily. He's mustached. She's scarved in muted red. Oh, sit wherever, I say, and a woman in blue cloak still running, runs into my arms. looks back at pursuing men fade. Oh, enter, I say, sit down and rest before you join your relatives. They who have cavern faces dark, receding with shut eyes, and still need to be healed of sadness, still need to know what we are. Mountains cry in modal grading tones. Whole planets collapse softly, wail. This is my life now, not a dream. It's as real as the city of Paris.